Welcome to Nuggets for a Successful Life with Coach Anike and Activities here. This is episode 142. We've discovered that one of the most critical skills for getting you through life itself and past all this craziness is for you to understand effective goal setting, planning, and goal attainment. And they also have to align with your own life's purpose and vision as well. So if that's what you're looking to accomplish, you're looking to get a few things done, you are in the right place. My name is Coach Anike, and for over 2 decades, and a half decades now, these primary skills have become the cornerstone of my life, my family, my career, all that we do here in the Nuggets community. So we want this to be for you a pleasurable experience. Now, before we get started, let's hear a word from our sponsors. Welcome back. Now, let me go back a bit. I'm going to go back in time. The idea of this program started in 2020 when the pandemic had started. And the idea of the program was to make it a weekly program, weekly live program, and it's dedicated to people who are serious and they want to make changes. They want to accomplish big things, big dreams, and live purposeful lives. If this is the first time of you tuning in, relax. You're in the right place. Don't trouble yourself. Now, this weekly program, the idea is to want to keep it short in just 60 minutes, but what we want to do is kind of help you kickstart your week so that you can get moving from once tomorrow. I know some of you are tuning in from somewhere like in Africa where it's like 7 o'clock now. So by the time that you're done through with the program, you just would get your plan for the day in place so you can hit the road tomorrow. Our idea is to help you set your goals, get you in place, answer your questions so that you can look or approach your day, your week from a winning perspective. Now, if where you are is noisy, then you can please use the chat. I'll keep my eye on the chat as well. But if you can talk, if you can share, please feel free. It's going to be open for us to be able to talk, okay? I want to start with a few celebrations. In the last few weeks, we've had, first of all, my good friend, Dr. Kola Aloyede. It's been his birthday, and we want to kind of shout out to him. The next person is my daughter. And today's her birthday. I mean, that's it's been. I heard she's been painting the town blue or red or pink without me. We bless God. So I bless her new age, and as she grows, she would be wise. She would grow to be a woman of our flanks. And then we also have Coach Tosi. Today is a birthday. Tomorrow is a birthday, rather. And want to also shout out to her as well. Happy birthday. And then last but not the least is my adorable mother. Her birthday is also this week as well. There's nothing like a sweet mama. So thank you very much for all that you do. We want to say thank you. Happy birthday to this lovely, lovely. I see your greetings. Yes, no problem. She's an amazing lady. Now, in today's episode, I wanted us to look at, let's explore the three, I call it it's the second 3 tips when it comes to, we're looking at what should I be doing or thinking of doing when I'm thinking of self-care. Now, I said it before, I said when it comes to self-care for most of us, I thought it was a woman thing. It wasn't men. Men were not taking care of themselves. We'll run up and down, we're men, But I realized that self-care is for every living human being. If you're not living, you don't need self-care anymore. But if you're alive, self-care is a must for you. And last week, we took our time and looked at 3 tips that can help you in terms of self-care. This week, we want to look at another 3 tips, and we'll make this as crispy, as spicy, and as down to earth as possible so that we can all enjoy it. Tip number 4 is your loved ones want you to take care of yourself. Your loved ones want you to take care of yourself. The truth is that your closest loved ones will want the best for you, which includes you practicing self-care. No one is going to begrudge you if you focus on yourself when it comes to self-care. And if anybody does, it really doesn't matter. Because we've discovered that if you don't take care of yourself, nobody else will. You are the primary custodian of your well-being. So you have to take care of yourself. It's critical. You have to do that. If nobody else is doing that, or no one else is telling you to do that, then yes, you have to do that. When you ignore your self-care, you are ignoring the wishes of your closest friends and your family. So if I run, and I know that sometimes, especially for us men, we can run indiscriminately. We would run without, sometimes without break, without caution. We want to, you are the man of the house, you have to do all of this, you have to do that. And most times when we break down, interestingly, we are not fun to be around with. Because for someone like who is always moving, it can be very challenging when you have to sit down, be taken care of, be pampered, they were asking you, and sickness sometimes can be very, very funny. Sometimes you can't describe where the pain is coming from, so you're just mourning. Oh, and they're like, what's it? Is it your head? You're like, I don't know if it's the head. You are not eating. They put food in front of you. You don't. You say, okay, maybe I want to eat this, and then they prepare that you don't eat. So you wouldn't be fun for anyone that is around you. So think about it. How many people were glad when you were sick the last time? They had a party. He's sick, he's ill. Whoa, let's celebrate. Nobody really would do that. Because they know they have to wait on you night and day. Nobody wants to get into that. So if you think for a second, the last time that you were not feeling well, or the first time that you were ill, what happened? You find that it wasn't pleasant, not for you, not for anyone. Now, just last week, my daughter, one of my daughters, Isabel, went back to school. And it was really interesting because I said it last week. I said, she had this particular medication she has to take, and it has to be a particular time. It's an 8-hour cycle kind of thing. So You have to wait at a particular time to get her to take her medication. She was not eating, so you would put so many food in front of her, she would not eat. And sometimes it can be a bit frustrating. Can you imagine you've prepared something for her to eat, and she will just look at it and say, no, I'm not eating this. And you try to cajole her, then sometimes you try to be firm, you must eat it. But she still refuses to eat it. What do? You kind of shift away. You either throw that away. So it wasn't fun, and she wasn't her best self. And when you have a 6-year-old who is not her best self, it can be very, very disheartening. So she wasn't making life fun for me. And I don't think life was fun for her either. That's why I realized, whether you like it or not, as long as you're doing well, you're okay, your health is fine, you're there. You may not have all the resources that you need. You may not have all the money that you need. You may not have the car or the house or whatever that you need. But for the fact that you are taking care of yourself, it means, because you see, once you are alive when tomorrow comes, then you can plan, you can execute your plan, you can put some things in place. But if you don't have your self-care in place, you are going to really struggle, because nobody would find you as fun. Now, we've heard this idea that sometimes our body speaks to us. Most of us have learned not to listen to our bodies. And then the way the body functions is that if you don't listen to it, it will get you to a place where it will knock you down. You don't want to get to that place. So if people should wait on you, it's okay to go to a restaurant and the waiter has to wait on you, bring your wine, bring your food, bring your desserts and all that stuff. It's good if that's where you're being waited on, but waited on because you're sick, you're ill, it's not a good sign. So make sure you're taking care of the primary body that you have been given. Interestingly, I found out that your body is the only currency you need to transact in this dimension. Once you leave your body, you can't do transaction in this dimension anymore. I don't think sometimes we understand the importance of our body, of our health. Your body is the means, just like when astronauts go to space, they need their space suit to be able to transact in that, because if they expose this body, it would melt away. It won't be able to stand the kind of pressure that is there. So they have to wear a suit. That suit is what enables them to do transactions out of space. Same thing with us as well. For us to be able to do transactions on Earth, we need our physical body. And trust me, the way you take care of your body will tell. The way you take care of your body will determine how much you can accomplish. So we've been running our routine. I'm glad our routine was over on Thursday. At least, so she went to school, so she's back in school Thursday, Friday, and then tomorrow it's holiday here, so she'll be in school until Tuesday. But she's up and running now. If you want to think back, just think back with me and remember when people had to wait on you, maybe night and day. How did it make you feel? How? Because if it made you feel groovy, I say, well, good for you. But if you didn't feel well, because some of us just want to contribute, we want to at least contribute our quota in anything that we do. And most times I found that one thing that really, apart from time, that sometimes we say we don't have, most of the time, if you're not feeling well, in fact, if you call me, any of my team calls me, and I'm not feeling well, I'll tell them, take the time off. Take the time off. That's okay. I understand, take the time off. Why? Because if you're working with us and you don't have your health in place, your body is not where it should be. After a while, you're going to have a huge kind of struggle. It takes us to tip 5. You have to get comfortable with the word no. I mean, if I were you, I'll just kind of say that. Just say no. Just say no. In the Nuggets community, we say the word no is a complete statement. When I first heard that, I was like, that's so true. The word no is complete. It can be hard to say it depending on your relationship with who the person you are saying no to is. But I want to show you 2 or 3 things that can help you that you can use. I mean, when learning how to say no and say no with, so it's one thing to say no. Some people say no, but at the end of the day, they leave with a lot of guilt. I want to show you 1 or 2 things that will help you say no, and you won't have to live with guilt. People feel guilty when they say no. It's a human thing because of empathy or emotion. And sometimes no is often the best answer you can give people. Most times, averagely, we don't set boundaries. We don't set boundaries on our time. We don't set boundaries on our energy. We don't set boundaries on our resources. And setting boundaries is a very, very good thing. Very good thing to do. Because on top of that, you have to explain yourself. We feel I have to explain why I said no. No, you don't have to. So I want to show you how you can say no and say no without feeling the guilt, or say no with confidence. In one of our programs, we had a program one time, and then one of our attendees said that she struggled with telling people no, especially her siblings, especially her close brothers and sisters. It was difficult to say no, and I understand that because it's also been a struggle for me as well. How do you tell your sister, even if she's not your only sister, but at least your sister is calling you and asking you for help, and maybe you could do it, but for some reason you may not have the time, and you are wondering, I can't say no to her. You have to learn to say no. What you want to start doing is to start it with small things, starting with things that are low risk. And that's how most people who learn to say no today, that's how they started. They started no with things that were low risk. For those of you who have children, maybe you indulge them and then they ask you for something and you're like, no, sweetheart, you won't get that now. That's it. That's where you start from. And then you start to practice it. And we say something that practice makes permanent. So you have to start practicing it. Maybe you want to do this. The next time that someone asks you for something, just say no. Just practice it. Just say no. Maybe the thought comes to your mind, you know what, next Sunday is another time for Nuggets for a Successful Life. I'm going to miss it. Say no. Learn to say no. This is something that I do sometimes, and I do them very often. I can go into one of the rooms, especially if I'm home alone or something. I'll go into one of the rooms. I'll shut the door, and I will just keep shouting, no. Oh, I can shout like 10 times, 15 times, until the sound kind of envelopes me. Now, I know it sounds ridiculous. I mean, now, why would they go now? Sometimes I do this at the car. I'm all wound up, so you don't really know what's going on. If I was playing loud music, but I'm not playing music, so there's no music. I'm just saying no, just to practice saying no, to understand that saying no is not harmful. It's something that we should add if we want to. We said something. If you ever want to give your best work, if you ever want to do your best work, if you ever want to show up your best, you must learn to say no. Think about it. We have 24 hours in a day. Okay, we're set to sleep 6, 7 to 8 hours. Then maybe you work, averagely you work 8 hours. Maybe you commute to your place of work, another 1 hour, go 1 hour, come, it's about, that's a total of 10 hours. So technically, your day is occupied with the same amount of time that everybody has. If you can learn to say no to the good, you will be able to say yes to the best. Because it's true, you can't eat your cake and have it. You can't say yes to everything. You can't say yes to everything and expect to have everything. No. I will say no now. No. For you to get the best of your day, and I don't want to look at your year, your life. Your life is still, I mean, if depending on how old you are, still, length in front of you. But in order to get the best of your day, you have to say no to some things. You have to say no to, let me sleep more. You have to say no to, let me not go for my walk. You have to say no to a lot of things that would come to kind of get you off track. You have to say no to them. People would make demands on you. There's something that one of our attendees said that it's so critical. That's on point. You have to have the knowledge that you can't do everything. Sometimes I think that we think that we're supermen or we're superwomen or we can do everything. So we don't understand that you can't do everything. You have to qualify the things that you say. For instance, we walk you through a program, you want to achieve a goal. So you have things that you want to do, like your tasks for the day. You have to put them in order of priority, which should be first, which should be second, which should be third, which should be fourth. If you don't do that, so when you say one is first, you are saying no to second. When you say something is second, you are saying no to third. You see what we're going to? So you have to, if you say yes to everything that you have to do, guess what happens? You just put everything you're doing, you're running here, you're running there, you will end up not accomplishing anything. Now, sometimes you would need to explain why you're saying no. Like, for instance, you want me to do something. Like someone called me and said he wanted us to meet, wanted me to coach him. And I said, okay, you know what, I can have time. Can we see at that? We said at a particular time. And he couldn't make it for whatever reason, but he didn't get back to me. So he calls me again after that, about a few days after that, and says, hey, sorry, I couldn't make it. Can we reschedule? I said to him, no. I said, because I had opened up that opportunity for us to be able to talk because I had that window. Now, I don't have a window for the next 3 weeks. If you can wait, if it's okay. And he wanted to kind of get upset because he's wondering, it's really important. I said, well, knowing the importance of this was what made me carve out time. I don't have that time anymore. So except you want me to just talk to you for talking's sake. If you want me to be meaningful in my conversation with you over whatever matter you want to talk to me about, then it has to be a time, and 3 weeks is the list I have. What that did for him was, after that, when he set up another meeting with me, it was kind of different. Why? Because he knows that if I close that window, then nothing else would open for him. So you have to be able to say no so that you can bring the best you when you say yes. So if you're a yes person, which is good. Imagine if you told your spouse or your daughter or your child yes for everything that they ask you. I wonder how that would be. When you're explaining why, I said the next thing you want to do is to kind of explain why. And that's what I did. I would have loved to do this, but right now I have a task that I need to complete. I need to submit this. I need to get this done by Friday this week. It means I can't have time for anything if I want to do this well, properly. I can't have time for anything until any time after Saturday. Is that okay with you? Person's like, no problem. And sometimes you need to be as firm as they are firm in their request. But be honest and objective with why you are saying no. So I'm not necessarily telling you that I cannot do it. I'm just saying that the time you want it done, I can't do it. So now, if it's pretty urgent, as I usually say, maybe you want to call 911. If it's really urgent, sorry, you want to call DHL or FedEx, they would help you with that. If it is an emergency, call 911. But if you want me to help you, then This is the time that I have open. What I'm doing now, I won't be done until maybe 2 weeks from now. Be honest with them. They would now look at it and say, okay, at least let me see what I can do. Can this thing wait? If it cannot wait, then they will get someone else. That's the thing. Now, understand when you're saying no. You are not saying no to a person. So I'm not saying no to you as a person. I'm saying no to what you are requesting, what you're offering, what you are asking. So it's not you. And I have to be clear. You have to be clear from the get-go that I am not rejecting you as a person. I'm only rejecting, I'm declining what you are requesting or asking me. So you want to do something, you want to, say something or go something. That's what I'm rejecting. I'm not rejecting you. Because we have to understand that sometimes we throw the water and the baby out. No, you have to always make sure, and I like to always make that clear that from the get-go, I respect you, I honor you, I love you, but I am saying no to your request, what you are asking me of. Because, and then I can just go on to say, hey, listen, I always like to, you know me, when I want to do something, I want to do it the best that I can do it. And I don't like shabby work. And I don't want, so when you tell them, I don't like shabby work, and they, okay, you want to do the best you can, guess what happens? They kind of give what you're doing. They give it more credence. They give it more power. So they know, oh, listen, if it's going to do it for me, it's going to do it well. And that's what you want to lead, because you can't do your best work if you do not say no to some things. Whatever it is that you're saying, if I tell you no, I will stick with my no until the time that I can do the best work I can do. Why do I do that? For two reasons. Number one, for your sake. Number two, for my sake. Because every time I do a shabby work, and this is what I used to find out before, I didn't have this rest. I didn't have this peace within me. I didn't have this calmness within me. So it would trouble me all day, and it just comes to that. I think you could have done that better. So because of that, I want to be at peace and at rest. I would not take on what I cannot do at that time. Number two, imagine if you needed a heart transplant. Would you ask me because I'm your best friend or because the one available? Oh, I have no surgical experience. Would you ask me to I'm sure you would not. You will get the best person that can help with what you want to do. So it's critical for your own sake, for my own sake. And most times, I don't know if you've noticed, if you can do something for someone at a particular time, we can always get someone else that can do it for them. I've had someone call me and say, you need to send this. If you don't send this, all hell will break loose. We're going to go under. And I said, I'm sorry, it's a good request, but it's not a good time for me. You don't mind, let me decline this. When I spoke with the person 1 week after that, they didn't go under. Someone else helped. They reached out to someone else who could help them. And that's the key thing. So don't reject the person. And if that's what you're doing, then you're not saying your no properly. If you say no to a person, I say no to you, to your idea. I say no to your advancement. I say no to what you're doing. I say no to what you're about to do because of the way it will impact me. But I'm not saying no to a person, which means I'm not going to say you're useless, you're this one, you're that one. No, I won't do that. So understanding that people would ask you things, which is okay, just like you ask people things as well. It's okay, but be ready, be willing to hear no sometimes, and don't feel that people owe you. It's not a sense of entitlement. And if you think like that, then you will lose the essence of it. It's a privilege for someone to help me, and I treasure that. So I am not saying no to the person, but I'm saying no to the request or what they're asking me to do. And then the last tip that I want us to look at for this episode is self-care is vital for it's critical for your goals. If you have goals, and that's where I want to look at this. If you have any kind of goal, you have any kind of dream, whatever it is, and you are thinking of achieving it, you are thinking of accomplishing it, then your self-care is, I call it, it's the foundation to help you accomplish anything. If you don't put your self-care in check, then I understand that you would struggle in so many things. You're like a person that wants to go on a journey and you want to drive. You have a lovely car, but your car doesn't have oil, it doesn't have gas, it doesn't have anything that would make the engine work. You would have to push it all the way. And trust me, it's not fun at all. So normally, back then, I remember when I want to go for a long trip, you take the car into the garage for checks, check the oil, check this one, check that one, make sure everything is working before you put the car on the road. Same thing for your body as well. If you're not taking care of your body, it's obviously you don't have goals, and that's okay. But you have to understand that this subject, it has to be a no compromise for you. It has to be no, my self-care is critical for me. If it is, then all your goals, all your dreams, all your visions will come to pass. It will come to pass because you will be up and running, ready to do whatever is required to be able to bring it to pass. If you don't, I call it disservice. You're doing listen, let me even look at your goal. It's critical that you accomplish the goals that you have set for yourself. Why? I'm going to talk of just one reason today, for time's sake. Many of us don't understand that there are people that are looking up to you. They may not tell you that they're looking up to you for whatever. They are looking at the way you are advancing in life, the way you are making progress. And most times I've found out, if you throw in the towel, give up, don't accomplish your goals, they take it as a validation for them to say, if this person didn't accomplish, this person is this, is that, he didn't accomplish what they are set out to do, then what about me? Come on. And then you have given them permission, in quotes, to fail. Now, that has a consequence. We'll talk about that some other time, but there's a consequence to that. You don't want to give anyone permission to fail. So you want to accomplish your goals. You want to accomplish your dreams. You want to accomplish your vision. To do that, your self-care is critical. It's very critical. Now, listen, it is much easier to reach your goals when you are attacking them from a healthy and happy standpoint. You're healthy, you're happy. To attack your goals becomes easier. When you're not your top yourself, everything is, everything is boring. So at what time in your life, if you want to look back now, would you say, you know what, some time ago, I kind of pushed away self-care and I overused my body and I got ill. How did it make you feel? How did it make you feel? I'm going to jump off this. Let me just jump on my slide here. And I'm going to, let's kind of talk. I see a lot of chat going on, but your self-care is critical. Trust me, I would call it non-negotiable. Don't negotiate it. Don't try to Don't try to do it differently. Don't say, hey, you know what, it's okay, and this is my self-care, but whatever happens, I can always. No, you cannot. Understand that critically, that if you are healthy, if you're good, everything else will fall in place. Everything else will fall in place. Even if the thing is looking confusing and throwing you off, it will come back to life. It will arrange itself back. But once your health is out of the window, everything begins to tack. Understanding that, what are the things that I want you to look at going into this week? Number one, what am I doing when it comes to my self-care? How can I, like, for instance, I was working every other day for me, and I realized that I didn't get some consistency in what I wanted to do. So guess what I did? I just decided to, okay, every day, come rain, come sun, I must do my 10,000 steps as a standard for me, at least Mondays to Friday. Before, I would do it or not do it, and it wasn't a bother because I could always, strike a few things. That's number one. Number two, I kind of began to go down in my water intake, because after a while of doing something, there's a tendency for you to kind of ease off on it. Don't let us do it again. Let's do it a bit when we have time. You have to understand that the power of anything is in consistency. Sometimes it's easy for us to do something, I call it in a blast. Let's do this, and we all, and then after that, no, you have to be consistent. You have to constantly show up day in and day out when it comes to your self-care, when it comes to your health, when it comes to what it is that you're doing. You have to constantly show up. This morning let me digress a bit. I was in the shower, and it occurred to me that every human being that is born, there is no one human being that is disadvantaged. I'm going to say that again so I can sink in. There is no human being that is disadvantaged. Everyone that is born into this world has an advantage, whatever it is. The problem is that most of us spend all our lives trying to discover what that advantage is. There's no one, I'm sure you guys have seen this guy, no arm, does he have no feet, no arm, or some stump of arm, and he's giving speeches. No one, so it doesn't matter what the color of your skin is. It doesn't matter how much education you have or don't have. It doesn't matter what you were told or were not told. It doesn't matter how long you've struggled with something, you're trying to do something. You have an advantage. It could be the way you look at things. It could be the way you interpret things. It could be the way you manage things. Whatever it is, the sooner that you find that, the better for you. I can't say that strong enough. The sooner you find that, the better for you. Because listen, when you understand what advantage you have, it means you understand what your grace is like. There are some people who don't know how to give up. No matter what you throw at them, they don't know how to give up. And they've used it to their advantage. They have used it to better themselves, to position themselves. They don't know how to give up. Now, it doesn't mean they don't know how to say no. They know how to say no. They just don't know how to give up. Now, one of the things that will help you not give up on something or anything, whatever it is to find out in the beginning, what's this? Is this what I should be looking at? Is this what I should be doing? And this would feed back to you taking care of yourself. Sometimes I think that we get engaged in so many things. I was talking to what's her name some time ago, and she said to me that people say they don't have time. And she said there's nothing like not having time, because everybody has the same amount of time. It's what we put into our time that determines if we can do things or don't do this. Sometimes we need to understand what our priorities are. So you have to take out this week and do some, I call it some self-assessment. Are you where you want to be in terms of your health? Are you sound in your health? Are you sound mentally? And I was telling a friend of mine earlier on before the program started that I got a text from a very good friend of mine. She actually was my daughter's teacher when she was in kindergarten. And she says to me that she just reached out to me and said, by June 1st, she's going to be moving to her own apartment and she's starting a new life. I'm like, okay, that's good. She said because she's divorced. But that wasn't the problem. She's seen a therapist. So I'm like, okay, there's a bit of challenge here. People neglect. So this is the thing. It doesn't matter what has happened. It doesn't matter what has happened to you. You are the only thing that would change or not change. You are the only thing that is key to the equation. If you will keep your mental soundness and keep your health, you will be able to provide solutions down the road. And that's really, 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 really critical for many of us. You will be able to provide solutions down the road, but you must understand, first of all, that how is my self-care overall? Do I think of myself, I'm busy, trying to do this? Someone told me that her birthday, she wants to do this and this and that. And I said, okay, so what's important to you? What do you see as important to you? Because it's critical. Sometimes I think we run on someone else's, someone else's timetable, and it doesn't always fit the way we want it to fit. So what is in it for you? What are you looking at? And looking at, so I'm going to kind of pull this to an end in a minute, but bear with me here. That's the critical thing. So I'm just going to pause a bit and get a bit of your opinion. I know sometimes I've never been tired of talking about health matters. For whatever reason, I'm never tired of talking about it because I find that it is critical in terms of our well-being. And if I talk about it too much, I kind of say, don't worry, we will talk about something else, but let's talk about it now. And most times I'll ask, so how healthy are you? How sound are you? And if you're like, well, I mean, I'm trying, I'm hoping, I say, no, you need to be firm when it comes to a large extent. So yes, self-care is fuel that allows your light to shine brightly. So true. If you don't have if your body is not in where it should be, trust me, I'm sure that we've all experienced that before. So I'm going to open up for a bit of chat here. If you can't talk where you are, if you can chat, if you can talk, please feel free to unmute yourself. And then I'm going to go into, I call this the last phase of it. We're having a lot of birthdays this week, but I'm going to go over our Nuggets Community Weekly in Focus. Look at a few things, run a few things, and then take it from there. I see Gracious, and I see could maybe welcome, guys. I see Coach Tosi. Happy birthday tomorrow when he comes. And I see Toa on the call as well.
Thanks so much, Coach.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yes.
So I hope I painted the town red.
I'll try.
All right.
Thanks, sir.
Wonderful. So let me hear your opinion. But while we're doing that, I'm going to put something in here for us to go over. I want to go over from the current slide. I want to go over what we're looking to do for the week. So in case I'm sure you would have gotten this. We've started with this. So there are just two programs we do majorly on for the week. One is the Nuggets, which we are wrapping up in the next few minutes. And then we have on Wednesday, we have the real conversation with Coach Anika. Now, what this has done for a lot of people there, so many people have sent questions, and we look at the question sometimes. If it's not a generic question, if it's not a general question, we kind of will slow it down, we'll answer, we'll deal with the person one-on-one, reach out to the person one-on-one. But apart from that, if it's something that is generic, something that people are going through, like I've had some questions that are going to be coming up after this. We'll be talking about production every Wednesday. How do you get productive? Because if you are sound in health, then the next thing is to be productive. But sometimes we don't always match that together because we are not as productive as we want to be. And then we started by celebrating a few people. I just mentioned one of them. And these are the four, I call it the 4 birthday celebrants. We don't have an anniversary for this week, but we want to kind of wrap around them. So I'm sure you know Dr. Kola, you may not know Rachel, that's my daughter, but you know Coach Tosich on the call. And then you may not know Mama Nika, and that's okay, that's my mom. But birthdays are not just, they're not just times they're once in a year. So I want you to do these people a favor, send them a text, call them, rejoice with them. Make sense? And in case you say, I don't know them, let me show them to you. Is that okay? Those are the 4 people. So enjoy, look at them. So enjoy them. In case, okay, you must say, okay, I didn't see them clearly. Let me move it to this. How about that? And then you can take a snapshot of this. Now this information usually is sent out every end of the week, gives you an idea of what we're doing for the week. And then these are our social handles on Facebook, on Twitter, on our YouTube channel, and on LinkedIn. Then I'm going to wrap it up by running this, but most of our programs replays are on our YouTube channel. So all you just need to do is go on and sign up, and the rest, as they say, is history, right? Now, I have had this complaint. Most people have re-registered for our program. Now, our programs are on Zoom, so except we advertise otherwise, all our programs are on Zoom. Now, what usually happens is that when you registered for the program, there was a page that would allow you to do 1 or 2 things. It will show you, it will confirm that you're registered. It will also generate a very unique link that is peculiar to you. That link is linked to the name and the email that you used. It sends you an email as well. So apart from the page that confirms you're registered, it also sends you an email as well. The problem is that most times that email goes into your spam box, and guess what happens? People don't see it. So every time you click on the link when we send you the invite, it takes you back to that page to register again. And some people have called me and said, I just keep registering, coach. So I said to them, so I've worked them. So the idea is that you need to locate that email. Go to the email you used in registering, go to your inbox, go to your spam and check. You will see the nuggets for Successful Life, an email from saying you're registered for. Once you go to that email, there are 2 things it allows you to do. Number 1, it allows you to join the program. Like for instance, if you click on it, say 30 minutes before we open the platform, it's going to tell you that it's like on cue that you'll be let in once the organizer opens the program. Now, if it doesn't do that, the other option is that you add it to your calendar, whatever calendar you use. That way, it just simply reminds you, like it does, that if you go to your calendar and click on that link, it takes you into the platform at any point in time that you click on it. And you don't have to, it won't ask you for your name anymore. It saves that. That's why if you forward that email to someone else and they use it to log in, they would eventually have your name as their name. So anyone that wants to invite a friend, you will send them the link so they can go and register and get their own unique. That's what Zoom does. It gives everyone their own unique link so that they can come into the program with that. If you do that, you would not be registering every time that you need to come on the program, because then you're just multi-registering and you don't need to do that. In the event, and then this is what we also do to kind of make things easy for a lot of people, is that we try and make sure that we kind of send you the confirmation link again. We do that like towards the weekend, so that if you look between your spam and your list, because sometimes if you received it, I don't know, maybe months ago when you have registered, it would have gone down your spam, or maybe you have even deleted your spam box, but it will send it again. And if you can't find it, just reach out to us and say, listen, we have the email admin at, or send, I say make it quicker, just send a text to the WhatsApp number, and we'll be able to resend that to you. You don't have to register again. Once you're registered, just click on that and you are in the program. Now we are, I call it my final phase. I'm going to open it up for any comments, any conversation. Now, if you can't talk because where you are is noisy, you can always use the chat. It's a good place to stay. Okay, wonderful. Happy birthday to Mom. I shall tell her. Oh, wonderful. So I'm just going to go through the chat while I'm letting you talk. It's not a quiet, or maybe it's a quiet Sunday for you. So what will you do this week when it comes to self-care for yourself? What would you do? Next week, we'll look at the third 3 tips that you should be putting in place when it comes to your healthcare. We're keeping them simple, keeping them simple and to the point. But I also know that what is easy to do, as someone rightly said, is easy not to do as well. It's easy to talk. Your healthcare, your health is, but it's easy not to take care of your health as well. So what is one thing that you will do this week when it comes to your health? Just, you can drop that in the chat. If you want to speak, you can unmute yourself, and I'll let you do that in the next few minutes, and then we'll call this a day, call it a wonderful week. At least it's jumpstarts your week. You've learned one thing that you can do when it comes to your health so that you can be the best you. I like you being the best you. I'm sure you like you like me being the best me as well. But being your best you is where you should go. Wonderful. It's been my pleasure. So if you don't have any, it's okay. I can understand if you don't have any. Thank you very much for tuning in. It's been a wonderful trip for me. One, looking at this, because a lot of times when you want to share something, you also want to look at yourself and say, am I taking care of myself? What's in terms of 1 to 10, 10 being excellent, how am I taking care of myself? How am I rested? Well, last night wasn't one of my key times because I didn't go to bed early. I stayed up late to do a few things. So I would say it's my gauge between yesterday and today would have dropped because I didn't sleep. I should have a particular amount of sleep. But everything else, in terms of my soundness, I've learned to go to a quiet place in my mind consistently. I don't let anything trouble me. And trust me, I have things to accomplish in the next 90 days that I've ever had combined. So I know that I have to be, for me to be in my A game, I have to be sound, I have to be focused, I have to make sure that my healthcare. So this for me, if nothing else, it's a win-win for me, because just looking at this and studying this and reading this, so that it doesn't become a go and tell them what to do. And what about you? And right, I tell them what to do. What about you? And because of that, it's allowed me to look at a lot of things. I've said no to a whole lot of things. I've had to reorganize a few things, put a few things in proper perspective. But the idea is that what I just walked through with you now, I'm practicing 80 to 90% of them consistently. I say no without an apology. I say no, and I say no in such a way that I make you feel good after I've said no, and I feel good too.